So you guys, this video is going to be very short, and this is a question that frequently have been asked by people, especially because sometimes I do talk about migration issues in Finland, in Sweden, and all those things. And some people have actually reached out to me and asked me, how long does it take to get a decision once you extend your permit? What I know, I'm just telling you this from what I personally know and what many people have been experiencing the recent months, because I do get a lot of questions from my TikTok, from my Facebook, and people do write me emails on my Gmail. Now, recently, actually, it seems that the immigration is taking time. Before, for example, if you are living with somebody that is already a citizen and has a resident permit, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you've already gotten the answer, and they will quickly ask you for your passport. For the work permit, that one is a little bit longer, but sometimes they could actually answer you longer. But it seems that recently they are taking longer time, and it could be they have much work to do. I have gone into the Swedish Migration Agency website to look for information. Is there any updates? What is going on? And I haven't really found any updates on the time for you to get the decision. The time still remains the same, and sometimes they would not tell you how long it's going to take. But the most important thing is that once you have done your extension at the right time, because now the first question is, how soon can I apply for an extension? And according to the Swedish Migration Agency website, they say you can apply for a resident permit extension earliest 2 months before your current resident permit expires. So that is very, very important. And then the greater question is, can I work while I'm waiting for a decision to an extension? And definitely yes. If you have applied for a resident permit extension in time, that is before your old resident permit expires, you are allowed to work while wait for your decision. So my question is, why do you panic? Why are you worried? Because at the end of the day, you have submitted your application on time. You are still allowed to work while waiting for your decision. And then you have to make sure that you have given them all the attachments needed, and everything is based on your case. So I really want you to take it easy, calm down. As long as they have not called you to ask you for one or two, three or the other, just calm down. As long as you know you have submitted the right extension. If you are doing for work permit, of course, salary check, we all know that the salary now is higher than before. So if it's on check and everything is yes, then you don't have to be worried, right? And the issue of salary also depends on when did you apply for your extension, right? Then as this is now the question we wanted to take. How long does it take to get a decision? The Swedish Migration Agency cannot answer how long the process time is to be. However, if you apply for an extension before your temporary resident permit expires, you have the right to stay in Sweden and continue to work or study while you wait for a decision. Be sure to attach documents to your application. It may take longer to process your application if it needs to be supplemented. So make sure, like I said before, give them all the attachment, all the documents required, because should in case you are not giving them the right attachment, this is what happened. Yeah, like if you give them, okay, what happens? And this is the question now I want us to check. It says, what happens if I apply on time but fail to submit all the attachments before my resident permit expires? What happens is that when we examine your application, we will make a decision based on the information we have received. So they can actually reach a decision based on the information that you have given them. That's why I said from the beginning, make sure you give them the right attachment. All requirements must be met when you apply. You can supplement your application by sending documents by post to the Swedish Migration Agency if we have not made any decision yet. Now, let's assume you send some attachments, some documents are missing, and you realized and they have not made a decision, then you can quickly post them to the Swedish Migration Agency. The processing time can vary, so it is not possible to predict when your application will be examined. This is the biggest question, but my thing is that if you have sent the right attachment, depending on which case it is, if you have done that on time, and you should not be worried, definitely they're gonna send you a decision. But I would say that normally, if it goes more than 6 months, you can actually call them and ask them that you did an application, you have not gotten an answer, what's going on. Then they will tell you it's either they have too much work or many people on the queue, and your case is still pending and they are waiting till they get a case officer. But you have your resident permit, you have your ID card that you can use, you still have your bank ID, so you are still functioning. And if you're working, for example, your employer can ask you for your document, and as long as you send them the application that you did with the migration agency, they would not have problem, because the problem the employers are afraid of is that maybe your resident permit is expired and maybe you have not extended it, or maybe it has totally died, and they don't want to have illegal people working in the companies, because now the Swedish Migration Agency and the government is very hard on companies that are keeping people without resident permits, and they actually charge them, I think, 600,000 Swedish crown. So that's, if your employer asks you, you just show him or her that you have done the application, you show them the conversation between you and the immigration agency. And because according to the Swedish Migration Agency, you still have the right to work while waiting for your decision, then the employer has no right to just tell you to stop working or something. And they rarely do that. As long as they know that you and the migration agency are in good terms, then they have no reason to stop you from working. So I would tell you to take it easy, and if you still feel that you need answers, call them and ask them and tell them you did an application, this is your case number, why is it taking so much time? So you guys, I hope I've answered your question. I see you in my next video. Thank you so much for always watching. Bye for now.